Hi, I'm going to show you how you can import exchange rates in batch into QuickBooks Online. So for example, you are buying and selling goods in multiple currencies in QuickBooks Online. So you're receiving payments in a foreign currency, or you're making payments to another country in, say, euros or something like that. And you want to more accurately reflect the exchange rates between your home currency and the currencies you're transacting in, then you can manually update those in QuickBooks Online. But if you've got multiple currencies and the exchange rates are fluctuating or are volatile, then that can be quite an arduous task, to say the least. So Z-Axis provides you a way that you can import those daily currency exchange rates in batch from text or Excel files. Now there's two ways you can do that. You can do that either by updating the exchange rate on the individual transactions that you're importing, or the second is to update the currency exchange rate for a particular date. So let's open up Z-Axis and I'm going to show you both of those ways that you can import those currency exchange rates into QuickBooks Online. So I've opened Z-Axis on my desktop and connected to my QuickBooks Online company file. I'm going to the import module. I'm going to browse to the file that contains the invoice data that I want to upload and the also corresponding exchange rates that are on that file. So now select Add New Mapping. I'm going to import these as invoices, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to map the mandatory fields. These are the ones that I'm going to need to import into QuickBooks in order to successfully update the currency. Going to be the item, the amount, description, and I also want the quantity. Now we'll import the customer. Now the two fields that we're going to be updating, or we need to update on these particular transactions, is the currency. So it's going to mention here to currency, which is going to be in a 3-letter abbreviation, and the exchange rate. Give the mapping a name, and we'll save that. So once we've applied the mapping, you can see just the columns that we're going to import and update. Now in QuickBooks Online, we've identified that this invoice number 88002, which is in Canadian dollars, we need to update the exchange rate. So if we go into QuickBooks Online and we'll open that invoice that we want to update the exchange rate on, and we can see here that the exchange rate that we use is 0.88, and we want to update that actual exchange rate. So I'm going to close that transaction, go back into Z-Axis. I'm going to update the exchange rate in here to 92,001. And now you can do this in batch, obviously, when you're importing from a text or Excel file. And we're going to select just these ones, and we select the option to overwrite, and we're going to import. Now Axis will go ahead and identify that existing invoice and will update the exchange rate on it. So we get a notification that the update has occurred. We can click on View, should open the invoice, and we can see the exchange rate has been updated. So click on here and we can see the updated exchange rate. So that's very simply how you can update in batch transactions in QuickBooks Online with their relevant exchange rates. So the second way that Axis can update in batch the exchange rates in QuickBooks Online is directly into the exchange rate list. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to have a file that contains the following information. I'll show you a sample that I've got here. So in it contains a column which has the date that the exchange rate is going to be set on, with set for. Then you have the source currency code, which is the foreign currency or not the home currency that you're dealing with. You got the rate for all of those different rates, all of the different currencies, and then the target currency. So if we create now add new mapping, we'll select the transaction type as exchange rate. We'll have the as of date mapped to that column, source currency, the actual rate, and then the target currency. So we'll then give that mapping a name. And then we can go ahead and import that into your QuickBooks Online company file, and it'll update the exchange rates for all of those currencies on those particular dates. So these will have to be valid or active currencies that you have in your file, and they will then can be used on new transactions as you enter them. The exchange rate will be set according to what you've imported here. So there we very simply updated a list of currencies on particular dates directly into QuickBooks Online. So if you want to try out Z-Axis, we have a 30-day free trial that you can download from our website, and you can test out with your own data that you can try out importing those exchange rates directly into your QuickBooks Online company file.